Hello everybody, this is Tyler, and today I wanted to give an update on the supply chain disruptions. The things that we talked about, labor, freight, and materials, are continuing to have an effect on the market and are going to affect things for the foreseeable future. Can't talk about the current supply chain issues without talking about the conflict in the Ukraine. Along with the humanitarian and political crises that are occurring, there are supply chain issues that are happening because of it. Ukraine is a major manufacturer of goods, and the loss of that manufacturing process is causing supply chain issues. Labor continues to affect how goods are made and transported across the world. Some places, like China, are still having COVID lockdowns. Meanwhile, in Europe, as Ukrainians are going back home in an effort to defend their country, where it's resulting in a labor shortage. Here in North America, certain industries like trucking are seeing continued labor shortages, making it hard to find people to move your goods. So material prices had started to stabilize prior to the conflict. Manufacturers had been able to hold pricing on a lot of their goods, and we had stopped seeing spikes of different materials in price increases. But with the war, we're seeing that a major manufacturing base, that's Ukraine, who produces the world's most steel, as an example, are starting to see shortages in the market. And that's, again, affecting prices, which are going up and down. Nobody seems to know what's going to happen with the conflict and the material prices. Even if it was to end tomorrow, which it hopefully ends soon, it's going to take a long time for the region to recover and rebuild. So commodity prices are still going to see fluctuations for the foreseeable future. And then we come to freight. And when we talk about freight, we talk about fuel. And we all know what's going on with fuel right now, in that it's getting very expensive. And that's causing some real strains on the supply chain, because we transport things sometimes multiple times between when it gets manufactured and when it gets delivered. And all of these rising fuel costs are having an effect on what things cost and how we get it through the system. As an example, fuel charges are really made up of two parts when we get a quote. There's the base cost, which is the cost of the truck and the driver and the overhead to run the facilities and all of that good stuff. And then there's something called the fuel surcharge rate, or the FSC. And the FSC is the cost of the fuel. And it goes up and down according to the market, while the base cost stays relatively the same. Traditionally, pre-COVID, that rate was in like the 20, maybe 30% range when gas got a little high. As of this week when we recorded, it was 89%. So to give you an idea, that more than doubles or triples the cost of just one shipment along the supply chain. So that can go from a $5,000 shipment all of a sudden as a $15,000 to $20,000 shipment. The other challenge is that nobody knows when it's going to rectify or when fuel prices are going to stabilize. So this is one of those areas we have to be a little bit careful on and do a little bit of pre-planning and how we work that into a budget. So where do we go from here? Like we talked about last time, and I think it's now even more important, is to work with your manufacturers, your representatives, and your dealers to make sure that you can plan ahead as long as possible for projects that are upcoming. You can talk about things like putting an order in early to secure pricing, about manufacturing and potentially holding and shipping at a later date, or alternate products that do the same thing but maybe come from a different region or use a different material. There's a couple of different options we can look at there, and we can help you with that if you come and contact us. So thank you. That was our presentation on the current supply chain issues. As always, please leave a like or a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. See you next time.